If you're in the Twitch community, you've probably heard of body painting. And if you're here, you're probably interested in how to get started. So today we're going to take a look at the updated Twitch community guidelines as they pertain to body painters. And we're going to do a breakdown of how to practice body art on Twitch in the safest way possible. Welcome to Body Painting 101. Okay, class, I'm the Bad Luck Buddha, and today I'll be your instructor. So let's open our textbooks up to the community guidelines, scroll to the section called Sexual Content, and we'll be working backwards through this page to see how these guidelines pertain to body art. The first thing you're going to want to do is scroll down to the section called Contextual Exceptions and find the paragraph labeled Body Art. I want to break this section down line by line to give you my best interpretation of how I have noticed that Twitch has been enforcing these rules. For streams dedicated to body art, full chest coverage is not required, but those who present as women must completely cover their nipples and areola with a layer of non-transparent clothing or a paint and latex combination. Artist-grade pasties, tape, latex, or similar alternatives are acceptable. This next section notes that anybody who is presenting as female should adhere to the nipple and areola coverage as we previously stated. Twitch doesn't really define what presenting as female is. So here's some basic guidelines that I will give you to be at your most safe while streaming. First, I'll note, men who plan to present as women via use of prosthetics during their stream should make sure that either the prosthetics in use are lacking a nipple and areola visible to the camera, or that they have applied a appropriate pasty or latex combination to cover the nipple and areola of the prosthetic. Next, I'll do the touchy subject of trans men. If you are a trans man and happen to present physically as a female prior to having paint on your body, it's probably in your best interest to use latex or artist-grade pasties in order to adhere to these guidelines. Finally, I'll say also women who may be trying to present as male, but at the very beginning of your stream are presenting as female, definitely cover your nipple and areola as we described before. And finally, we get to the juice of it. People that we just described should be covering the nipple and areola using non-transparent fabric or a paint and latex combination. Now, when I say paint and latex combination, that does not mean solely using latex to cover the breast. The nipple is a 3D object, and latex on its own will do nothing but conform to that shape. The aim in this process is to create a smooth, non-distracting canvas. So I really want to emphasize Twitch's call out of artist-grade pasties first here. Any method that is used, be it a combination of tape and latex, fabric pasties and latex, artist-grade silicone pasties, artist-grade foam latex pasties, or whatever alternative that it is that you are using, needs to make a good faith effort to mimic artist-grade pasties. This coverage must be applied before streaming begins, not on stream. Buttocks and genitals must also be fully covered by opaque attire. What this means is that the modesty paint needs to be done before the camera goes live. There are no longer any exceptions to camera angles that only frame the head and neck. This exception to the general coverage requirements only applies while the streamer is actively engaged in body painting. So the streamer may take short breaks between active painting sessions or when painting is complete to model the results. This last part is very important to understand, as I've seen a number of body artists receive suspensions and bans for violation. So what constitutes a short break? Is it 5 minutes, 10, 20? And what do they mean by a short break? To be the most conservative, I don't recommend taking more than a 10 to 15 minute break from actively painting to stop and talk to chat. And what about at the end? How long do you get to model the results? Again, let's be more conservative with our time here and just limit ourselves to about 5 to 10 minutes after the paint is completed to show off the results before either ending the stream or becoming compliant with the rest of the apparel guidelines to switch categories. But Buddha, I see partners finishing their streams and going straight into photo shoots afterward. Just because a partner does something does not mean that you can. There are more than 2 million streamers on Twitch, and maybe 1% of them are partners. Partners are assigned a staff partner as well, somebody to help them better navigate through terms of service. They also can contact that staff partner in order to receive special exceptions for the content that they create, and can be given separate guidelines in order to create that exception content. So again, just because you see a partner doing something doesn't mean you can. Doesn't mean you will be safe. You do not know the circumstances for which a partner is conducting this content. If it seems like a gray area and you aren't sure if it's okay or not, just don't do it. Or proceed at your own risk. If you're an affiliate and you receive a ban or a suspension and Twitch gives you a reason, citing back that a partner does the exact same content is not gonna fly. That was a lot, right? We're not quite done yet. See, the contextual exceptions still have boundaries within the standard guidelines. Let's scroll back up to see what the full standard dress code is to make doubly sure that we'll be in compliance. No nudity, full or partial, including exposed genitals or buttocks, includes the outline of genitals even when covered. Which means while body painting is a contextual exception to partial nudity, this rule should be noted for including genitals and buttocks, which comes into play in the next bit. When your bottoms must be covered from hip to bottom of pelvis and buttocks. So if you decide to wear shorts while broadcasting, I suggest to wear bike shorts and avoid yoga shorties. Even if you only stand for a minute, if the viewers catch the slightest bit of exposed booty, you could find yourself in Report City. Broadcasting of nude or partially nude minors is always prohibited, regardless of context. Hopefully this isn't something that has to be covered. But let's say you have a child and they want to be a superhero. That's going to be a no-go for anything other than a face paint. Female presenting streamers are required to cover nipples, no exposed underbust, cleavage is unrestricted if meeting other requirements. Again, this is aimed at female presenting. See the definitions that we gave previously. Since we see additional coverage requirements here of no underbust, you should start your stream with the entire breast covered, including the underbust. To be especially safe, I would recommend covering any area that would normally be covered by a bandeau with paint. But if you are painting a character with a plunging neckline, make sure all other components meet the apparel guideline. Required coverage must be fully opaque. While this section is about apparel, it's also reiterated in the body art exceptions. So make sure your paint is opaque. Warning that this can be a bit of a challenge for red pigments, but make the best effort you can to not be in violation. Augmented reality or other avatars must follow the above restrictions, as should cosplay and other costumes. This doesn't totally apply to us, but it's still good to know. Okay, it's time to review. Bottoms must cover from the hips, which by standard are typically about 1 inch to a ½ inch below the belly button, to underneath the buttocks. Female presenting streamers must cover the nipple and areola with artist grade pasties or similar materials. Paint must be started prior to stream, must be opaque in nature, and should follow the attire guidelines for your gender. Body art is an exception only when actively painting. Taking short breaks in a short modeling session after the paint is finished is completely okay. And finally, to reiterate yet again, just because a partner does something does not mean that you should or can. And that's it for your Body Painting 101. You find me live on Twitch every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll leave a link to the stream in the description below, along with links to the community guidelines and a list of supplies that I typically use when I do body painting on Twitch. If you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, leave a comment below. If you found that this was pretty helpful for you, leave a thumbs up. And if not, leave a thumbs down. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm new to YouTube. Smash that subscribe button. Punch it. Punch the subscribe. Punch it now. Subscribe to me. Follow me on Twitch. Do all the things. Just all of them. I don't know what I'm doing here.